We are live again.
Yes.
Hey, Melissa.
Hello.
I just pushed the live button to record, but I realized I should have gotten you a glass of water.
Yeah, I may need one.
Just in case,
This weather, I don't think helps.
Girl, it is so cold outside.
Yes.
Yeah, and we're not built, like we Mississippians, we're just not built for that.
No.
We have patients, from the north, from Michigan, from Minnesota, and they're just kind of laughing at us.
Yes. They're unfazed.
Yeah. Except, I'll tell you one funny story. Was it last year, a couple of years ago, I had that giant ice storm, and everything was frozen, and we're still trying to come to work.
Sliding on the road.
Sliding, and you're like, this is not good. But I had a patient from Michigan, and he was, he's telling me, I was, oh man, you're from there, so this is easy. You know exactly how to drive in this. And he's like, yeah, we don't drive in this because we know that driving on ice, even with 4-wheel drive, is suicide. And we're like, we don't.
Not smart.
Not smart. And here we are, like, these giant trucks, like, dragging themselves all over the place. So, all right. Well, Melissa, common sense medicine.
Yes.
This is episode 8.
Yeah.
So we
2
are
months into this. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, our listenership has gone up significantly because I think, again, the point of this podcast is to try to teach people about their health. And so if you understand your health, then you have better control over how to improve it and get it better. And a lot of times, people just don't know what to ask. And the point of this podcast is we'll just tell you everything we know and hopefully some of it's helpful.
Exactly. That's why we're here.
Yeah. And today we are doing a Christmas episode.
Christmas edition.
That's right. Christmas edition.
You may not learn much today, but.
That's right. Well, you know what? They'll learn about us.
There you go. Things you never knew that you wanted to know.
That's right. See, that's we're all about, letting people know. Maybe you will learn something.
Yeah.
Just about the way we think.
That's right.
But today we will be talking about a couple of things. I'm going to start with this because I have a list, but I wanted to start with actually, Melissa, we know you, lifestyle medicine. And then for me, population health. So I want to start it off with what made you want to do lifestyle medicine? Like because tell me what you did before. Our listeners don't know.
So I have a background in family medicine. So I've done anything from working in the clinic, like kind of similar to what I do now. I was with a hospitalist group for a while. So I've done a little bit of it all. But in doing all that, I found that there's a huge detachment from what can keep us from getting into those situations versus what we actually do to try to help people to keep from getting that situation. So it's one of those things that we're treating people once they're sick, but we're not really doing anything to help them from getting sick. And in a lot of the conditions that we see on a day-to-day basis, a lot of them can be improved or even prevented with lifestyle. And so I found lifestyle medicine, kind of learned more about it, got certified in it, all that. So just to kind of have that extra knowledge to be able to try to help people where they're at and use their lifestyle as a way to prevent all the conditions that can follow down the road. Yeah.
Well, and that's actually perfectly placed, Melissa, because, when I used to work in the hospital, so you work with the hospitalist group, I think before you're an ICU nurse as well, you walk in that hospital and probably 70%, I would even say, if not higher, you're like, people don't have to be here if we just made better decisions when we're in our 30s and 40s.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. There's a lot of people there that, have just had, 30, 40 years, more than that even, of just, bad lifestyle decisions, and it adds up.
Yeah, exactly. And that has a lot to do with essentially the reason we built this clinic, So me and you work at Blue Health Baptist. So if you have Blue Cross, come see us. And the goal for what we do as far as population health and things like that is, okay, how can we best use our resources to improve our population's health so that they can have a better quality of life and length of life in the future, right? Which is really important because, like you said, I've been practicing medicine for a while, and you realize a lot of times even the medicines that we write over and over and over, some of it have some benefit, but most of it, the benefit is small. And definitely, if we don't change the lifestyle, we'll just continue to add medication. And from a population standpoint, more medication, more hospitalization, more ER visits, that equals more cost. Not just to like insurance and hospital, but more cost to the patient themselves. We hear people going bankrupt over things like that. And we're like, we don't have to be like this. And obviously there's a lot of things that has to be done by the government, as far as Congress, and that's out of our control. But we can start with just being healthier and controlling risk. And if we do that, we'll be better.
Right. Yeah. And if nothing changes, nothing changes. And I think that's a big thing that people have to realize when they get started on, say, a blood pressure medicine or a medicine for diabetes or things like that. If we do nothing else other than that medicine, 5-10 years down the road, we're adding more medicine, if even that long. Sometimes it's shorter than that. So if we don't do anything differently as far as our diet, exercise, weight loss, things like that, we're not going to do anything to prevent that disease from progressing and worsening. Whereas if we can add in some lifestyle, maybe we slow that progression of the disease or improve it in the long run.
You nailed it right on the head, because that's exactly right. You hear people all the time, blood pressure, diabetes are progressive diseases, heart diseases are progressive diseases, but they're progressive because we don't do anything to stop it. And right, medication can only go so far. And even the newer ones, our episode 3 on Ozempic got a lot of listens because it's one of the few ones that, talk about medication for weight loss. But even in those studies, if they don't change, it will plateau. It will all come back. And we're just spending more and more money. Right. And, at the end of the day, if we're spending money on this and, on insurance premiums on this, that's less money for people's wages, right? That's less money for patients to use on vacation or use on things that they want to use for themselves because they had to pay for a hospital bill or an ER bill. And so, right. So at the end of the day, what we want to do is to make our population healthier by improving their lifestyle, by giving them the tools to get healthier. And what does that have to do with Christmas? I don't really know. I would say it's because this is why we give. This is why we're giving back to our community. And this is how we give back to our community, by really trying to take healthcare by the horns and make it better for everyone.
Right. And educating the patients and the fact that they have more power than they realize, and play an active role in their health.
Which actually brings me to my second question, Melissa.
Okay.
Okay, so obviously Christmas, Wish Upon a Star, or maybe that's Disney and Pinocchio. But anyway, if there's one thing you could change, or you wish you could do different, or healthcare would be different, or the patients would know something different, what do you think it would be?
Yes. You kind of asked me a little bit about this, and yours was so good that I'm like completely influenced by that.
Yes.
Now.
Well, yeah, we can have the same one.
And I think, go ahead and just share yours and I'll second that.
Yeah. Well, if I could do one thing or tell patients one thing or wish for one thing that would change in our healthcare population, it would be that patients realize how much power they have over their health. A lot of times, and especially I think the way the advertising is, or maybe the way the media tells us, it's kind of like you have no choice. If you're gonna be obese, you're just gonna be obese. If you have ADHD, you just have ADHD. If you have depression, it's just depression. Diabetes, whatever, there's nothing you can do to make it better except take my drug or take my supplement. Yeah. And going scorched earth, the supplement industry is not out of this either. They say the same exact thing, just in a little different way. But if I could put one message out there that patients really took and understood and kind of applied, is that you have a lot of say in how your body responds to things. Not just physical, right? Obviously nutrition, diet, exercise, but mentally. Talk about ADHD. There's things you can do to rearrange your life to make those situations better. And you don't have to be completely waiting on medication, waiting on the next greatest thing from pharma or from the supplement industry or another diet fad. You can start doing things now to control those things.
Absolutely. And that goes back to that magic bullet or magic pill type scenario where a lot of us just want that one, quick fix and want to give that power to something else, whether that is a new medication or the newest diet trend or whatever. But if we actually just make small, sustainable changes and make habits out of them, we can improve our health in the long run much more significantly than most of these other things, especially since most of the results are pretty short-lived. So,
yeah. And I think at the end of the day, talking to most patients, that's what they want. Mm-hmm. They want change. They want to do things different. They want to feel different. I had one guy today, he told me that, his mom wants him to do this, genetic testing to look for a very rare gene mutation because he's just been really tired. And he's young. He's a, young 20s guy. And I was like, well, I mean, you shouldn't be this tired. And so I started asking him like, okay, why do you want this test? He's like, well, it started happening when I went to college, became more tired, but I think it's my diet. And I was like, oh, do elaborate. And he's like, yeah, I eat trash. And when I eat trash, I feel horrible. But I came home, I started meal prepping for 2 weeks. And for those 2 weeks, I felt amazing. Mm-hmm. And it was amazing that just listening, once he started talking it out, he's like, yeah, I probably don't need that test. Because the test is not cheap. It's a really expensive test. It doesn't tell you a whole lot other than you should take a vitamin. But he started realizing that if I just change my lifestyle, I start feeling better. Mm-hmm. And I think at the crux, people just want to feel better. And sometimes, I guess tying it all together, people feel powerless because they feel like they can't do anything to feel better. It's got to be a hormone that's off. It's got to be something else that's off, but it doesn't have to be.
Right. There has to be some reason, some label that they can put on it, and they go searching for a label. Mm-hmm. But really, for the most part, label or not, if we do the same things, improving our lifestyle, improving what we eat, how we sleep, all of those factors, a lot of times, whether we still have that same label or not, we're still feeling better.
That's right.
Because, if somebody has a genetic mutation, it may or may not ever cause any problems depending on the scenario. So,
yeah, that's really good, which I guess keeps tying on, another thing that I think I wish patients would maybe learn different or do different for this upcoming year is paying attention to the dangers of over-testing. Mm-hmm. I think that's one that we don't realize, we'll just do another test. We'll just do another scan. We'll just do another. And that's one thing, I guess, looking back at 2022, we started learning, me personally, is like over testing is just as dangerous as under testing. Mm-hmm. Oftentimes, and this has actually happened a couple of times, you do a scan randomly, not even looking for said thing, you find incidentally something else. Now you got to chase that thing. Patient's freaking out. They're going on Google. They think they're going to die. We biopsy, we poke. $10,000 later, it was nothing. Mm-hmm. And that, on one aspect, you're like, whoo, great, that was nothing. On the other aspect, you're like, we didn't even have to do this.
Right.
If we didn't go randomly scan or draw blood or do things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think as people search for their health care or, pursue their care in whatever way, it really has to be a joint decision between them and their provider. And if you read something on the internet or you see a TikTok that tells you need to get all these tests done and then you go talk to your doctor and they tell you really don't, I mean, trust their opinion. Not everything on TikTok is like,
yes.
Yeah.
Which another one, maybe we just add this as a wish. Not ban social media, but there needs to be
misinformation on social media is tough. Yeah. Especially medical misinformation. That has really been highlighted in the past couple of years.
Yeah. And it just travels too fast. And, where I think there was a study looking at Twitter and it says truth versus false tweets. False tweets apparently travel 7 times as fast as true tweets.
I believe it.
Which is, again, it adds to the battle that we're fighting. And again, no, we always want patients to be heard. We want them to feel comfortable with telling us everything they're experiencing. And we listen, here at Blue Health Baptist. Oh, we're not speaking on our, yes, but me and you as providers, we make it a point to listen and pay attention and, through what patients tell us, try to decide if this is something we need to pursue different or what to do next. And, and I think we've developed really good trust with the population. So,
yeah, I think so. I think that's why we're here. That's why we do what we do. We want to hear our patients and also offer them the best advice we can.
Right, right. And when we say no, it's not because we're being mean.
No.
But we realize, like, based on how often this disease happens, where we are, your exposure risk, we might not have a very high percentage of catching what you want to catch without finding something we don't want to find. I don't know if that made sense.
Yeah, no, I think so.
Okay. Cool. All right. Well, that was a lot more serious than I thought. Merry Christmas, everybody.
This was supposed to be a lighthearted episode.
Yes. Okay, so let's go to some of our lighthearted stuff. All right, Melissa, favorite holiday food?
This is another hard one. I've always been a dessert person, though, so probably, I don't know, maybe like pecan pie or something.
Dang.
Yeah.
It is so delicious.
Good.
And it only comes every once in a while.
Yeah. I mean, I probably haven't had one in, I don't know, maybe years, but 2 years. I don't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't come around very often, but when you have it, it's just a good treat.
It looks so good. And okay, and what is that brown stuff between the pecan and the crust? Do you know?
Just straight sugar.
Okay.
I think it is like, is it Caro syrup and some other sugary?
It's just straight syrup.
I mean, basically.
Yeah. Well, that's why, okay, so for those people that are listening, you can have a little for Christmas.
Yes. It's just an occasional treat. Huh?
That's right. And, a funny story. I have so many and it's not even one. I have like 5 people, we'll be talking about their lifestyle stuff in October. And they're like, I'll start in January because, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. And I was like, those are 3 days out of
3 days out of the next 60 or whatever it was. Yeah. So, and that's a big thing, that the holiday is just one day. And of course, people have multiple events, whether they're going to work parties or family gatherings or things like that. And yes, enjoy those times of coming together and enjoy those treats here and there. But just move on to your regular meal, like the next meal. You don't have to wait until January to cook a healthy meal. You can do that the next day, really.
Tomorrow. Yeah.
It's okay. Just to enjoy it for a couple of days and move on.
Yeah. Well,
you feel a lot better.
You do. Yeah. Like I said, right. We're not Scrooges. Like you can enjoy, candy and candy canes and stuff like that. But right. Tomorrow's a new day. It's time to climb up and pull the decorations down, which be careful. Don't fall off a ladder and hurt yourself. But yeah, also time like, okay, we'll go back to the way we're eating because you felt better when you ate better.
Oh yeah. People usually feel terrible after the holidays, especially when they overindulge. And then by the time January rolls around, they're just so ready to feel better that they plan all these extreme, boot camps and fasting and whatever diet fad happens to be. But really just kind of get back to your regular routine right after the holiday and kind of get back to it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and I just remember a commercial of a guy who he overate and his belt buckle popped and his button popped off. It was an old commercial, shot through the house and broke a bunch of glass. And you're right. It's everybody, we just feel so bad when we're overstuffed.
Oh, for sure.
For me, I love stuffing.
Oh yeah. That's a good one too.
Or dress. Do you call it stuffing or dressing?
Dressing. Okay. I guess it's kind of similar, but I guess stuffing is truly where you stuff the bird. That's right. And then the dressing, you don't have to stuff it.
That's right. Yeah. You just take the gravy from the bird and put it on there. Yes. No. Delicious. All right.
Yeah. If I had to pick a savory thing, that would probably be up there.
And because you have everything, you can put turkey in there. You can put it all. It's so good. But right. Just a little bit. I've already told myself we're having some this weekend. I'm just going to have a little bit and then we'll go from there.
Yeah.
All right. Melissa, do you have a family tradition that you guys do?
Probably just baking cookies for Santa, just kind of, that's probably the one time a year where we just kind of get in the kitchen together, get the kids in there, which I try to get the kids in the kitchen some, just to get them learning. But really when you're trying to cook a fast weeknight meal, it's usually like, everybody else, get out of my way.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is probably one time a year where I'll definitely pull them in, let them be a little more hands-on, especially with, baking something from scratch. And yeah, it's just kind of the excitement and getting everybody together. I think that's fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. And again, like, I guess as a side note, spending time with family, that social interaction is so important. I mean, obviously for parents, but also for children. We have lots of studies showing that, families that eat together at the dinner table, that spend time together, and it's harder nowadays with all the devices and all, soccer, gymnastics, blah, blah, blah. But, taking that time to spend together as a family is really, really helpful for mental health, for children's mental health, for that family core unit that, can make people healthier.
Oh, for sure. And yeah, just sharing those family dishes and things like that when we do get to be with our family for the holidays. Yeah, kind of sharing that time in the kitchen, creating those old recipes together, and just kind of having that time together, whether it's, immediate family, extended family. Kind of a good time to come together.
That's awesome. Yeah, for us, we like to make gingerbread houses.
Oh, that's a good one too.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, with 5 kids, it is just psycho.
Have you started glue gunning them?
Somebody suggested that when I posted a reel of us making one and it just collapsing. No, we usually just end up eating all of them as we're building, because the kids are, they're like, "Ooh, this is a doorknob, but I really want to lick it." So they just lick it, and now you can't use it on there. So it's
just eat it.
It is, and I usually, I'll find peppermint patties under the table for like a week. Yeah, like one gets mad and throws this at the other one, and next but right, it's fun when we make them. We try to look at the box, and we don't do anything like the box. It doesn't look anything like that. It looks like a bomb exploded.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, but it's fun. Like I said, the kids love it, and it's really good. Again, just building that community, that family unit. So awesome. Okay. Melissa, we are getting near the end. So for our special, I have a game of Mad Libs. I pondered what it would sound like on, radio or podcast, but I think we could make it work. So for those who don't know, Mad Libs, you get this like story and it gives you blanks, and you have to be good at grammar because you have to know what adverbs are, adjectives.
I'll have to remember these things.
They, my son, I guess they go to they call it, I guess, a traditional education school. I don't know. So they're all about literature, reading, writing. Except they tell me it's what Abraham Lincoln did. I was like, great. He was the president. But I tell you what, when they start telling me adjective, participle, and my eyes just glaze over. I have no clue what they're talking about. Yeah.
Okay. So we'll see. We'll test my grammar too.
Okay. All right, Melissa. I need a noun.
Bird.
Bird. Okay. I need a verb ending in ing.
Running.
Running. Okay. All right. I need an adjective.
Small.
Small. Okay.
Is that an adjective?
Yes. Yes, it is. A family member.
Sister.
Okay. All right. Another verb.
Jump.
Jump. And I need an ingredient of any kind.
Flour.
Flour. Okay. I need one more noun. Well, a couple more noun.
A noun. How about rock?
Rock. All right. And 2 nouns.
Table.
Table.
And pencil. I'm like looking around.
It sounds like you're very realist. Okay.
This is going to be the worst.
Okay. Another noun.
Let's see. I want to do something different.
Okay.
Person, place, or thing. I've done things the whole time, so I could do either one.
Yeah.
Let's do... I can't do sister again. Let's do brother.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
That's awesome.
I'm overthinking this.
No, it's okay. One more noun.
Another noun.
We've had a lot of nouns.
Tree.
Tree. Okay. All right. A verb.
I've already done jump and run. Skip.
Okay. And another noun.
Shirt.
Shirt. Okay. A number.
3.
3. Okay. One more number.
1.
1. Okay. And the last noun.
Cloud.
All right. Now the drum roll. This is for Merry Christmas to our listeners.
Okay.
Okay. The title is Christmas Baking.
Oh.
Oh, okay. Every year we make bird at Christmas time.
A lot of people do.
That's what came out. Yeah. Running has been a tradition since I was a small kid. Sister used to make most of the recipe back then, but I would always help jump flour. That's actually what it looks like my house when we're baking. It's just flour everywhere. Now that I'm older, I make the entire batch of rock from scratch. All you have to do is mix table and pencil in a bowl until fluffy and add brother. Oh, that was like a Hansel and Gretel story.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't forget the tree. Skip them on a shirt and bake them at 3 degrees. Okay. After 1 minute, you will have the perfect cloud.
Oh, good.
There you go, Melissa. You kept that PG. We don't have to put the explicit
That's right.
logo on there. Well, Melissa, it is Christmas time, so Merry Christmas to you and your
Merry
family.
Christmas.
Yeah, and you guys are going on the cruise tomorrow.
Yes. Yes. Ready or not, here we go.
That's gonna be fun. Take lots of pictures because obviously, I want to see what it's like to take kids on our cruise.
Yes. This will be our first time bringing kids along, so a new experience.
That's right, family. That's another family tradition. Maybe in the future it'll be cruises
There
every
you go.
winter.
Yeah. Family tradition.
There you go. Okay, and then of course we'll be back next week. We have ADHD, and so we'll be talking about that.
Yes. And we talked about recapping hot topics of the year too. And that was one, obviously, that's big right now. So.
Yeah. Yeah. That's actually really, that's right. So a year-end wrap up of everything, big topics that we've seen, maybe things we've learned from said things, and that talks about, obviously ADHD medication running out, COVID vaccine, childhood vaccine. That might be something we'll kind of wrap up because we're starting to see some issues with that. So, but anyway, Melissa, I will see you when you get back.
Okay.
Yeah. And again, thanks to our listeners. They've made this year awesome. We've grown a lot on our podcast.
Yeah.
So keep sharing them.
Yes.
Yep. Thanks, Melissa.
Yeah. Thanks.